Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk up a man downtown. It's going out. Did you notice that the Bee Gees sort of sound like the lead singer of AC/DC? Not talking about Brian Johnson. Talking about the one before. I did it touch. Anyways, happy Monday. That's the show. Skull production value. Nah, just playing. Thank you so much for coming along. Monday is like day 27 of quarantine, and I hope you're getting through. And hopefully that this is a nice little break from the realness of the world as sports is supposed to be. It does bug me though. So we've made a point on here to try and keep this as apolitical as possible, and because I respect you guys for coming along. I know that you're not watching this for political commentary or anything like that, but man, like this downtime with sports media, like they're full on like going balls to the wall, just like digging the political trenches, which is unfortunate. And I know the whole the stick to sports thing. I agree with that to a degree, if that makes sense, where if real life and politics is impacting sports, the actual product on the field, then I think it's actually worth talking about. But I feel like way too many people in sports media just really try and shoehorn or try to reverse engineer a way to interject their politics and stuff. So, I mean, I'm not down for that. And I feel like, yeah, of course, anecdotally, I'm speaking for all of the red-blooded American sports fans out there. It's like, no, you ain't here for that. So, anyways, sorry, mini rant to start out Monday. Also, the production value mugs are amazing. Get them down below. Teespring producer Allie is a rock star doing them, but I'm not used to drinking from like the 10-ounce mugs. See, I'm used to these giant honkers. So also, this should have said like world number 7 dad, because I've been funny and I'm self-aware. I fully understand where I rank, but I mean, this is like a pint of coffee, and I'm more down for that. So Teespring, step up your mug size game. So do that up. But grab a mug, support the show. You know what to do. Jerome's live chat. Light us up. We got a little bit of Q&A. We're going to go through some box scores, maybe talk some draft stuff. I don't know. You know how these things go. But yeah, we're going to be here 11 a.m. Central Time every single day this week as well. This is week 3 of doing the hour live stream. So thanks very much for coming along if you're watching live, as well as if you're watching on demand. Bully on you. So first off, I profess my love for going through old box scores just to see and laugh at things. So I wanted to look at a box score from the faded 2010 season, right? The second year of Brett Favre. It's like, all right, 09 NFC title game, Saints, Bounty Let's run it back one time. And the Vikings. So by this time, Brad Childress is gone. So how would you like to be? First off, 2010 is like a fever dream. So Randy Moss is back for a month, and then he throws Tanucci's under the bus. By the way, Tanucci's a wonderful locally owned restaurant and catering business. So, I mean, that's the one blemish on Randy's resume to me. Well, that running over the traffic cop, you know. All right, do traffic cops actually have to be standing in the street? But the fact that he was back for a month, get your 84 jerseys out, I'm back home, was just insane. Also, the Jets Monday night game where Brett Favre throws a touchdown to Randy Moss over Antonio Cromartie. I mean, what is good? Also, after the game, what was it like? When players get together post game. So Antonio Cromartie, Adrian Peterson getting together, is like, that's like 30 kids combined. Phillip Rivers teleconference is in. That's like 50 kids. It's pretty insane. But 2010 season, you guys remember this game. So the dome collapsed, by the way. I want a mini documentary. Hell, maybe we should shoot one about the 2010 season for the Vikings. I mean, the dome physically collapsed. Sorry, historic Mall of America field at the Metrodome. It just like collapsed, like it was done, right? So the Vikings play a frozen winter game at TCF Bank Stadium before the Wilfs paid for putting in the heat coils where the Vikings spent those 2 years while waiting for US Bank Stadium to be built. So 2010, this is what week was this? All right, so week 15, Vikings hosting the Bears. This is Brett Favre's final game finale, because you remember Favre had been doing this thing the last couple weeks where he would play the first drive and then T-Jack would come in just because Favre wanted to keep his start streak alive, which, there's a lot of laudable things about Brett Favre. I mean, he was tough. He had a lot of fun. He was an all-time great, all that other stuff. But dude was a complete, fully self-absorbed narcissist, like 100%. So just like, well, I'm going to start one series so I can keep my start streak going. Man, cool. All right, so get into this. But this game, Favre actually played some significant time. So Favre ends up being, he got lambasted by Corey Woot, future Vikings legend. But, I mean, just look at these scores. Look who scored here. So Percy Harvin right away. Oh, we were winning this game. Oh, we're going to need more wax. Percy, 23-yard pass and catch and run from Bert Favre. Robbie Gould. Johnny Knox, remember him? The pride of Abilene Christian before he got, look it up. Johnny Knox injury, which is always fun when you look up injuries. Yeah, because remember, he got bent like in half. Trying to find a good shot of it. Because we can't play video because we'll get pulled off of YouTube. Now, that's not great. Does not look good. But, I mean, yeah, in terms of injuries, that was no bueno. All right, so Johnny Knox is on there. Devin Hester, of course. And, of course, the legend Joe Webb, just getting things done on the ground. Yeah. But Cutler, yeah, this is when the Bears were supposed to be good. This is when they had their NFC title game appearance. Was this 20? No, that was 2010. Whatever year they lost to the Packers, but actually this might have been 2010. Yeah, because the Bears were 10-4. So you had Jay Cutler and prime Matt Forte, like Matt Forte, not Jets Matt Forte. Garrett Wolf, remember him, the pride of Northern Illinois. Chester Taylor was over there. Shoot. Johnny Knox. Yeah, you forget that the Bears had Greg Olson before he went to the Panthers, and then before he came a third-rate play-by-play announcer or color analyst, whatever. Devin Romashu, Vikings legend, all up in here. And then also the Vikings. So this is after they drafted Toby Gerhart, just like coming on in. Hey, second round pick, Toby Gerhart. Woo. I fully understand that Adrian Peterson is in his prime. We fully understand that Percy Harvin takes on a lot of running back duties as well. But hey, let's spend a second round pick on Toby Gerhart. Great. Greg Camarillo, Lorenzo Book. Oh, one of my favorite things, there's a picture of Brett Favre standing next to Lorenzo Booker. And the great thing is that both those guys in the picture are named Lorenzo because Brett Favre's middle name is Lorenzo, which is just funny to me. Bernard Berrien, Hank Baskett. I mean, Mr. Kendra. One of the Playboy Playmates was married to Hank Baskett. Didn't quite work out. But, man. Yeah, Julius Peppers, you forget, was on the Bears. Lance Briggs, Israel Adonijah, Corey Wooten, of course, as we said. Brian Urlacher. Oh, hey, you remember that jabroni safety from New Mexico? Yeah, the bald guy. Turns out to be pretty good. I'll see Data Paris Hilton. This is the reality show episode. Let's see what else here. Oh, Asher Allen. God, Asher. I want to see if mock draftable as an Asher Allen spider chart because they might. Because Asher Allen was a physical freak. There it is. Asher Allen. Oh, man, I guess not. For some reason, I thought that Asher Allen was was that Marcus McCauley? Yeah, it must have been. Marcus McCauley. There we go. Fresno State 07. I guess not like freak, but I'm still pretty decent. So, 4.39 40, 36-inch vert, 120 broad jump. Man, it's pretty decent. How did he not work out? Oh, of course, C.J. Henderson is the Marcus McCauley comp. Same thing, A.J. Terrell. Remember Quentin Jammer? Yeah, sorry, let's finish this up. Eric Frampton, ooh, baby, I love your way. Just like the remnants of that 09 team just hanging on. Oh, yeah, Lito Shepard came in, and Frank Walker came in for a hot second. Just depressing. Oh, yeah. How did the Vikings lose in the return game? Oh, because you got Devin Hester against Greg Camarillo and Lorenzo Booker. That's how. Man. It's rough times. Anyways, we'll get into Q&A. Since we got the live chat going up now, let us know where you're watching from. We'll give a couple of shout-outs here later on in the stream. First up, Jerome Shalom. I feel like this virtual draft is going to be the most watched draft in history for some reason. Yeah, because there's going to be no sports. Everyone's going to be bored. I actually think they should stretch it out over 7 days, but that's just me. White Wolf. White Wolf is a monthly and or platinum Jerome. Find out how you can support the channel. Hit that join box down below. $5 a month. That's all we need. I'm not exactly pounding the table for one specific cornerback. Oh, question we put out there. Players that we're pounding the table for. So just like completely on, right? Actually, let's look at mine. Since this show is all about me. Because I put out a list of my guys, and it's a list that's over a strata of like the entire draft. So my guys, Andrew Thomas. I mean, if Andrew Thomas somehow fell out of the top 10, I'd be full on in for the Vikings to make a move to go again. Jeff Okudah as well, Javon Kinlaw, C.J. Henderson. If Kinlaw or Henderson somehow fall out of the, say, top 15, unlikely, but go up and go get him. I love Jalen Reagor. If in terms of a one-on-one replacement for Stephon Diggs, I think he'll be up there. Love Antoine Winfield Jr. as well. I think he brings some versatility both between safety, cornerback, nickel, etc. James Lynch out of Baylor, I like his versatility up front. Jeff Gladney out of TCU. A lot of these guys are cornerbacks because we've been doing really hammering a lot of work on cornerbacks. But that's none of my business. So Gladney, Bryce Hall, Jalen Johnson, love all three of them. Ezra Cleveland, if you wanted a Brian O'Neill clone, he is the guy. If the Vikings are fully all in on the zone scheme, go up and get Ezra Cleveland. Probably top of the second round. Maybe he sneaks into the back of the first round. Jeremy Chin. All right, so the more I scratch Jeremy Chin's lotto ticket, the more I really like him as the best all-around safety. Best all-around safety. I think right now he's safety 4. I still think it's McKinney, Delpit, McKinney, Winfield, and then Chin all up in there. James Brochet out of SMU. Another one of those guys. The more that I research and look into him, the more I really like him. I think he could be a really great day 3 steal for the Vikings. Matt Parrott, of course, from UConn. I like him as a developmental tackle prospect. Antonio Gibson, we skipped over Memphis. If you want Cordero Patterson 2.0, draft Gibson. As well as Amik Robinson. I think will come in and be a dynamite nickel cornerback right away. J.J. Taylor, dynamite out of Arizona. Mason Fine. We're going to do a Mason Fine video. I really like him. I think he's going to go 6th or 7th round. You get a ton of like the best parts of Teddy Bridgewater's game. The accuracy, just the demeanor, just the leadership ability as well. I really like him. I mean, I think he's going to get knocked for being 5'11", but I think the height thing sort of gone out the window. I think Russell Wilson was a blazer in that regard. Because I mean, Baker Mayfield is if Baker Mayfield is 6 foot in cleats, I'm the Queen of England, as well as Kyler Murray's like 5'2". So there you go. And also Levante Bellamy. I think specifically for the Vikings and the zone scheme, I think he'd be a great fit. The running back out of Western Michigan. Run the boat. So see, guys I'd be standing on the table for, I guess pending on stages of the draft: Thomas, Okudah Henderson, Reagor, Ezra Cleveland, Jalen Johnson. Later on, Amik, Mason, Justin Jones, North Carolina. Shout out North. Andrew Hansen, Iowa. Great niggery sauce. Let's go. Let's play. Tyler W. Skull from Post Falls, Idaho. Don't you know Idaho? Preacher Paul is hitting the road. He's awesome. Cyberblow 123. Skull from Temecula. Drive to Temecula. There you go. All right. Dan Brueggemann, Spokane, Washington. There you go. Shout out. So thanks for joining in on the live stream. White Wolf. Not exactly put on the table for one specific cornerback, but I want one of the top like 4 or 5. Fully agree. And an early offensive line pick. Fully agree there. Also, am I the only one who really wants to see Mims in purple? That's the receiver I want, baby. Well, for me, I'm sort of whatever on Mims. Of course, he was one of the combine superstars along with Ruggs III. I would say you do wonder about his hands to a degree, but I mean, if the Vikings do come with him at say 25 or somehow trade up in the top of the second round, snag him, he is a potential dynamic playmaker on all 3 levels. I would not mind him at all. Johnny Yang Fitness. I'm standing on the table of the Vikings draft, either go for a Skull and Skiuma. Yeah, I'm a little worried about it's not, nepotism isn't the word. Homerism, I guess, is the word about Dakota. And, even Iowa players to a degree. So you have this sort of homerish, or so maybe it's a maroon color glasses of like this guy's good, that guy's good, that guy's good. But I mean, steal for someone in the mid rounds, as well as Kamal Martin. I think that someone's going to get a really good linebacker day 3. Some guy's just a tackling machine, and it's going to come in and play special teams from day 1. So, Johnson, Kamal Martin, Antoine Winfield going to be legit this year. Preacher Paul, I just give a shout out to my Jeromes in quarantine. Also, pick on the offensive line works for me. I pray for the Skull Nation. Again, shout out to everyone watching in their homes. Let's see here. Oh, Charlie Buttman. Yeah, Charlie Heck. It's the whole like scared native thing. Like just because the Vikings didn't work out with one first round wide receiver doesn't mean that you shouldn't take shots at wide receiver, because I actually think that this hurt the Vikings to a degree, especially on the interior offensive line. Whereas like, well, John Sullivan was a 6th round pick, or Matt Burke was undrafted, right? So it was like, oh, we'll just get guards day 3. We'll just get interior offensive lineman day 3. Didn't quite work out. Right, and the entire thinking of like, hey, we'll do this, we'll do that. It's just, it's almost as works out or doesn't work out. I mean, it's an exception. It should not be the rule. So, I mean, if the wide receiver is there and it's at the top of the Vikings big board, 22-25, draft him. Stanley Maros, playtime since pretty Ricky, his promo GM in 2012. Redraft his drafts as you fit, knowing what we know now and who you all right, so that's a whole nother video, a whole nother stream. Perhaps with that, that's a good idea. Abza Abdi, let's be real. Jalen Hurts should be a first-round quarterback. His skills, career, and resume is leagues above what Love has. I feel like a little bit disrespectful. He's not treated like that. Well, I've heard Sarkisian, but I mean, he was basically Tebow, right? Tebow with a little bit better accuracy. And I think that the 1 year in Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley certainly helped his draft stock, ended up being runner-up in the Heisman Trophy voting. And he's a guy that I really like. We did a video on him a couple of weeks ago, maybe even months ago, that before Cousins signed his extension, I would have loved Jalen Hurts as, say, a 2nd round, 3rd round developmental pick, because I think that he does have an NFL caliber arm, does need to work on accuracy. I think he brings a lot of intangibles, especially leadership, especially character, the way that he handled being sat down for Tua. So, I think that he is being overshadowed by Love just because there's so many overlapping couple years he could be legit. Seth B. Herman, I'm staying on the table for CJ Henderson. I think the Vikings need to make a move for him. We saw how good the Vikings can be with true lockdown man corner. Do you think we will? Do you think we'll? All right. Aha, technology and stuff. All right. Do you think we'll actually go offense or defense with our first pick? I agree with CJ Henderson. I think that outside of Akuda, I think he is like the truest man-to-man option out there. I love the way that he plays. Come on, resizing. I mean, we're on Windows 10, or is this XP? Whatever. I think that they will go offense. I think either wide receiver or offensive line with the first round pick. Let's see here. Abda Abzi. Man, gotta fix this. This is a good pod. He's got my stupid chap lips. That you, Rona? Yeah. Abdad, as we get closer to the draft, I'm getting less optimistic about getting Williams. Should we still take a look back or try to? Well, like we said, I actually don't think anything's going to happen with Trent Williams until the draft. Where I mean, it's a deadline-driven league. Things generally don't happen until they have to. And I think what will happen is that coming out of day 1, if a team doesn't get one of the top 5 big tackles, I mean, they'll sort of go around to Trent Williams. Like maybe all of a sudden, since they missed out on Josh Jones and Thomas and Wills and Wirfs and all the other blah, blah, blah. But all right, well, maybe a 2nd round pick for Trent Williams doesn't look that terrible at this point. So I think Washington actually, even though they don't have any leverage, despite what you jabronis say, they actually could pick up a little bit more after day 1 of the draft. So I wouldn't be shocked at all if Williams gets dealt during the draft. Jacob Sly. Say like the Jets, perfect example. So say that instead of picking Andrew Thomas or Becton or Josh Jones in the first round, they go wide receiver. Like they pick up Jerry Jeudy at 11. And now, they're like, all right, so we missed out on offensive tackles because as they come around in the 2nd round, say that there isn't a premier starting left tackle or tackle in general there. So all of a sudden they're like, okay, Trent Williams, 2nd round pick, let's do this. Boom. I think that's how that actually gets done. Jacob Sly, high profile guy standing on the table for Tristan Wirfs. Man, just a mountain of a mover. Phil Lodeholt, too. I mean, Tristan Wirfs is pretty legit. Not so high profile Jonathan Taylor. I think he is legit. I think he is like a diet Saquon Barkley. I do worry about the number of carries that he put on during his time in Madison. Also, Badgers, screw him. I have a funny Tristan Wirfs story. Well, share with the class, son. Shoot. DG snippets. I really like Pittman from USC. He's a possession catcher, but has vertical ability and can get it done in the run game, can slide in as a wide receiver too. I agree. You do like his size. I don't think he'll ever be like a true wide receiver one. But could he be, gosh, like who would be a decent like comparison stand-in? I know Ruben Reynolds not like Malcolm Floyd. Maybe Michael Floyd to a degree. Like when he was paired up with Larry Fitzgerald those couple years with Carson Palmer. Maybe. Yeah, but in terms of an outside presence, I do like Michael Pittman. We said this in the video about Michael Pittman a week ago. It's like he could be what Treadwell was supposed to be, but as we talked about being scared natives, are you worried about drafting a similar type of player as Treadwell since Treadwell didn't work out? Maybe no. Maya Deshpande. If Jordan Love falls to 22, can you see any team trading up to take him over the Patriots might? I'd love to trade back into the early second. I mean, you certainly could. Even though the Colts gave up their first-round pick and are seemingly out of the quarterback market now, I mean, Phillip Rivers isn't going to play forever. It gets clear that they're not completely sold on Jabroni Brisket. So if he falls to 22, I mean, could the Colts make a move back in? I mean, it could make a lot of sense. The Colts do have 2 second-round picks. So if Chris Ballard's like, all right, we did our homework on Jordan Love as much as we can during the Rona quarantine, and we don't want him to go to the Patriots because screw him. So, yeah, we're going to move up, and we'll give the Vikings both of our second-round picks. I could certainly see that scenario. Ooh, that could be a video. There you go. DG. Henderson is my golden goose. Yeah, Dunk in a first round, at least 2 first round would even out to me too. Agree on CJ Henderson. He's a stud. Brent G got caught up in last week's episode over the weekend, and I felt the need to bring up the Pat Tillman story for needing to be a movie. Yeah, I'm sort of surprised that Pat Tillman hasn't been made into a movie yet. Also, I've been part of the NFL draft, and Lawrence Taylor. Went one. Players I'm saying on the table for are Kyle Duggar, so safety out of Lenore Ryan, a small school in, I believe it's North Carolina. Reggie Robinson, mid-round smaller school DBs. We'll love to see what Zim can do with him. Zim gets a lot of credit for being the DB whisperer, but of course, I mean, first rounder Xavier Rhodes, first rounder Trey Waynes, former number 5 overall pick Terrence Newman, as well as Mack was a second round pick. Mike Hughes was a first round pick. Yeah, let's see what he can do with seventh round pick Chris Boyd, UDFA Mark Fields, and a couple of 7th rounders and UDFA slap his cornerbacks from this class. Let's see that. But also, I want to see what went down in that Lawrence Taylor draft. So Taylor won out of UNC to the Giants. 2 overall. Who was 1 then? George Rogers? Who the F was George Rogers? Okay. Rodgers. But apparently made the Pro Bowl, so cool. Jets 3, Freeman, McNeil, running back. Yeah, this is back when they actually used to take running backs early. It's crazy. Seahawks, Kenny Easley, eventual Hall of Famer. Like the OG, great safety. He's certainly up there with Joey Browner in terms of safeties are completely slept on. EJ Jr. Rich Campbell. What the fuck is Rich Campbell? Hugh Green, stud. Oh, finally, Reggie Lott. Yeah, because remember, Reggie Lott came in as a cornerback out of SC before he switched over to safety and became one of the best safeties of all time. Keith Van Horn. Oh, you mean that lanky mofo from Utah? Rick Majerus, RIP. Keith Van Horn, though, in the NBA was a legit stud. Back-to-back running backs. How'd that work out? Cool. Dennis Smith. Let's see. Oh, Mike Singletary, 2nd round out of Baylor. Yeah, because he fell because he was one of those oddly shaped people because he was 5'11", 230, middle linebacker from back in the day. Yeah, the team that had Dick Butkus all of a sudden is going to pick this sawed-off shotgun linebacker from the Big 8 out of Baylor. How'd that work? Neil Lomax, James Wilder Sr. I had a lot of hope for James Wilder Jr. Just never really worked out. Running back who came out of Florida State. Then he went to, I think, the Bengals for a hot second. Howie Long, second round pick. Ricky Jackson for the Saints. Speaking of underrated, underappreciated edge rushers, like Hall of Famers, up there. I think he's in the top 10 on the sack list as well. Russ Grimm, stud. Hogs, let's go. Let's see, who'd the Vikings draft this draft? That's a good question. All right, so the Vikings did not have a first-round pick. They traded someone, whatever. Marty McDoyle, okay. Rob Sendelin, okay. For some reason, they had 3 second-round picks, so I'm guessing they traded out of the first round. Jarvis Redwine, running back from the University of Nebraska. Cool. Tim Irwin. I vaguely remember Tim Irwin being decent for a hot second, but maybe I'm wrong. John Swain. Wendell Ray. Cool. Don Shaver out of Cuztown. You know it's good when they have to list the state that the school is in, because you have no idea. Unless it's Miami of Ohio, which is fine. Wade Wilson. Finally. East Texas State, baby. Come on. East Texas State sounds like a made-up school. It does. Like Necessary Roughness. I'm sure that's a school like East Texas State. James Murphy. Brent Kenorick. Yeah, a fullback. I don't even care that it's round 11. This is back when the draft had like 97 rounds. Brian Williams, tight end from Southern University. It's not even a state school. It's like a directional. Southern. Cool. Great. Also, the Vikings picked up Leo Lewis, I guess. But, yeah, whatever. Anyways, that's the Lawrence Taylor draft. That's the Harding analysis that you came for. So, sorry about that. So let's see what else here. Let's see. Okay, there you go. Next up is Jabba Dabba. Is there any way we could trade for Quentin Nelson? 3 1s, probably. Player I'm standing on the table is Kenneth Murray. I think he's just a super high character guy. Add a lot of heart and talent to this defense. Yeah, Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma, legit. Forget Abza Abdi. Forget standing. I'd backflip for to get inside the top 10. Cap is a myth, but your stream hype is real. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. Shout out to you. Let's see, get in the top 10. Who would you want, though? Yeah, who necessarily would you want? For me, getting into the top 10, I mean, Brown, Andrew Thomas, Jeff Okudah for sure. Don't think you'd have to get in the top 10 for the receivers. Would you get in the top 10 for Becton, Wills, Wirfs, maybe? Isaiah Simmons for sure. Man, yeah. Zach Ballas. One of the last things Wabi did was interview Aaron Andrews. I'm just saying. All right. Joshua Munson 6. We're just going to get Munsoned out here. Greetings from Fargo. Do you think Zimmer will ever be a true head coach and focus on the details of the game, or continue to be a de facto defense coordinator? Or as we've called him, the defense coordinator with the challenge flag. I think he is fully fine with outsourcing the offense. Like, he's always wanted a head coach of the offense. Look at Norv, look at Shermer, look at who are we missing? DiFilippo. I mean, look at Kubiak now. Sure. So I actually don't think that he'll ever, take on the full-on Belichick 30,000 feet view of being a head coach. I think he'll always see the defense as his baby, and I think that is a benefit to the defense, but I think it's overall a fatal flaw for a team as a whole, because, I mean, for Zimmer for so many years, whenever the offense has struggled, it seems like he's always sort of skated by on criticism. It's always been DiFilippo. It's always been Norv. It's always been XYZ. It's always been whatever. But, I mean, you're the CEO of the team. You're the head coach. The buck stops with you, and as well as it should. But I would never see Zimmer going that route. Next up is Row the Skull. Brief thoughts on some of these cornerbacks later in the rounds draft. Darnay Holmes, Cameron Dancer, Meek Robinson, Lamar Jackson. Haven't done a lot on Holmes. Dancer. So Mississippi State, I mean, he's very solid what he does in college. I'm concerned that he'll have speed issues in the NFL, but get a little bit of Brandon Browner vibes out of him, except for the whole murder thing. Amik Robertson, Louisiana Tech. I think he'd come in right away, be the best, like just plug and play nickel cornerback of this draft, and could be a real asset for the Vikings. I would love Robertson more if it's a get a cornerback early and then circle around, get him in the middle rounds. On the Lamar Jackson, Nebraska, where, yeah. That's my response. And setting a table for Isaiah Simmons, I think he's going to start for year to come. Yeah, I think in the modern NFL where there's so many sub-package everything, I think that he's going to be a stud wherever he is. Safety, linebacker, really do not care. I think that he's just going to be a phenomenal playmaker for many years to come. I'd be very upset if Isaiah Simmons ends up in Detroit, by the way. Alexander Garcia. I would be dancing on the table if Tua fell to us, but more realistically, if Chason was there at 22, it would be amazing. He's got the Adrian Peterson mentality. I do enjoy Chason. How does he have the Adrian mentality? I don't know. I do like Chason. I think that comparing him to Danielle Hunter, it's a little bit over the top. I do think that like God-given physical gifts-wise, he's not on Danielle Hunter's level at all. Production-wise, sure. Like early transferable edge rushing traits, I think he is ahead of where Danielle Hunter was at first. But, of course, I mean, Danielle Hunter became Danielle frickin' Hunter, right? Trubisky, what positions do you think are most likely going to draft in the first round? Say cornerback, wide receiver, offensive line, maybe defensive line, specifically tackle as over edge. Armin 13. How do you feel if we make Mims as our wide receiver in the second round? I mean, if Mims is there at 58, for show. Christopher Cole. I really love Higgs and Fulton. Agree. What would be your ideal first round for the Vikings for their 2 picks if they stay put? So, I have to think of this. I would say Christian Fulton 22. Actually, say if Josh Jones fell to 22, it'd be hard to pass him up. I'd say Josh Jones and Christian Fulton at 25, or Jeff Gladney at 25. You could convince me either way. Bryce Bernhardt. What's Gordon Bombay up to these days? Is he on the radar, potentially replace Zimmer? I think he's just hanging out. I think he's back to practicing law. Probably a failed lawyer. Who really knows? Yeah. So maybe he's available. Like, actually, what did he do after D3? I mean, because afterwards, he passes. Also, I don't know why he wasn't in D3. It's not like Emilio Estevez was in high demand. Like, why'd they have to pass it off to the random jabroni head coach? Of course, yeah, Eden Hall. That isn't a reference to Eden Prairie at all. So, yes, Abdi. Predictions for next year. Vikings do the tag and trade on Cook for a first-round pick, and we get a running back, Travis Etienne, from Clemson with that pick. I don't know why Etienne didn't come out this year. It's not a particularly strong running back class. I mean, he probably would – I think he easily would have been the first running back taken. Probably would have been first round pick. I don't know if Swift ends up in the first round. So, but also the tag and trade on Cook. A team is not going to trade for a first round pick for a running back. I mean, they just aren't. Like unless Cook completely comes in and blows the doors off the roof or the ceiling off the roof, whatever. Then. Yeah, maybe, but still, I think pretty unlikely. Jake, Amik Robinson from Louisiana Tech would be great in the mid-round pick. I agree. I love your trade back, both first rounds in the mock draft. I'm definitely hoping they trade down at least one of the first-round picks. Strong agree, mainly because I did it. But also, like we said, I think from picks like 30 to 50 or 60, there's going to be a lot of freaking talent that goes there. And overall at 22-25, I mean, unless some premier talent falls, I think whoever the Vikings end up taking, if they do stay and take a draft of those picks, will be deemed a reach at the time. Brett Ververselos, why do you draft a running back in the mock? Do you not trust Dalvin? Well, every running back I draft is in like the 7th round, unless it's like a layer in the 4th. So, I mean, they drafted Alexander Madison at the bottom end of the 3rd round last year. I mean, they drafted Toby Gerhart in 2010 in the 2nd round. Do they not trust Adrian? Get out of here. Get out of here. DG Snippets, bold pick. Vikings draft to sure. Chris Reisel. Although Harrison, a 3rd rounder, that's a little tough. Chris Reisel. Offensive line is all I want with the topics. Can you pick up a wide receiver later that can make an impact? Agree to a degree. I mean, this is a great wide receiver class. I think this offensive line is a little bit more top heavy than we expect. But although top heavy for the tackles, I think all the talent for the guards and interior offensive linemen is going to be in those mid rounds. Brett Vuvuzelos, do you think we should trade up to get CD Lamb, who replaced Diggs? I mean, if you're going to trade up, Lamb, I think Ruggs can be in that conversation. I think Jerry Jeudy, for me, is still a wide receiver one amongst that group. Foreign Savage 87. I never get to watch a live stream because it is nighttime in India, but thank you for answering questions. Is there any are there any late round weak side linebackers that you like? I think this is a very poor linebacker class, in my opinion. I mean, it's not overly great. I mean, Kamal Martin from the Gophers is the name that immediately pops to mind. I mean, it is pretty thin. It is pretty thin in terms of like linebacker talent, but I think you're starting to see that. I mean, last year, let's look at the draft last year. Okay, 2019. Yeah, because if Anthony Barr actually had left, that would have been a serious crisis for the Vikings. Because you look in the draft, so the Devons, Devin Bush or Devin White, they both go in the top 10. I mean, if the Vikings had wanted a one-on-one replacement for Barr, they probably would have had to move up and get either White or Bush, because the linebacker talent for the rest of the draft, just in terms of a guy who could have come in on that strong side linebacker spot for the Vikings, it's a big drop-off. It was really Ben Benogu. I actually really like him. How did TCU not win more games? That's what I want to know. But yeah, AD. I don't think a specific player, but we do need to draft O-line early and often because we're stuck with Cousins for the next couple of years, and he's pretty good until pressure. I agree. Go offensive lineman. I found out the Minneapolis Lakers won 5 championships in their first 6 seasons, which is absolutely crazy. There's like 4 teams in the league at the time. Yeah, it's like, see, who's the NHL team that had the dynasty early on? Was like the Canadiens when there was like 6 NHL teams. So it's a little bit like that. Well, Minneapolis Lakers. We should just change this name from the Daily Livestream to the Daily just Andy Wikipedia's random things. All right, so where's the championships? List of seasons. All right, so let's just look this up. All right, championships, 1949. The BAA Finals. The Lakers beat the Washington Capitals. Cool. How do we get the season? Later that year, the National Basketball League merged with the whatever. All right, so Wiki 1950 and 1950 NBA season. All right, so there's 11 teams in the league, and eventually the Lakers won. Oh no, the Lakers bombed out that year. Oh, but the top scorer was George Mikan, so we'll take that. All right, so the teams in the East, the Philadelphia Warriors, who I assume eventually moved to San Francisco, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Syracuse Nationals. Who did they become? They just folded. All right, whatever. Then the Baltimore Bullets, who I assume eventually became the Washington Bullets and then the Washington Wizards. Is that what happened? It doesn't matter. Washington Capitals, cool. Then the Western Division. Oh, I mean, they only had to beat 4 other teams to win the division. So we'll take that. So the Lakers, the Rochester Royals, the Fort Wayne Pistons, the Indianapolis Olympians, and the Tri-City Blackhawks. So great. These are like all teams from the Jackie Moon movie. But yeah, whatever. There you go. Brent G. Sullivan, defensive tackle. Is a big need, but I'm worried about drafting Blacklock or Gallimore in the first. Yeah, I think that would be a pretty big reach for either of them. If they went Jordan Elliott or the Texas A&M kid, I wouldn't necessarily be upset there. Well, A&M second round, sure. Assuming no trades, would you feel better about Blacklock or Gallimore in the first, or someone like Matabuke in the second? I'd feel a lot better about Matabuke in the second, for sure. Stanley Moss. Vikings wide receiver draft day woes. Don't stop letting this phase you. I'm nervous about the inevitable wide receiver selection within the top 3 picks. The last 4 to 5 are top selection. Judy is the safest bet. Agree. but he's going to go too high. All right, so standing on the table for Gladney, Jalen Johnson, James Lynch, fully agree on those. Drew Lenz, what are your thoughts about Van Jefferson, wide receiver out of Florida? Well, I think he's a better prospect than Cleveland for sure, but I mean, there's a lot of talent on that Florida team that just never really panned out. So is it coaching? Is it lack of quarterback? Who really knows? But I mean, Jefferson, in terms of a guy that is going to go day 3, sure. Ryan O'Sullivan, how far can Judy fall in this draft? Well, do we have any incriminating video of Judy like smoking out of a gas mask bong one time? It'd be nice if we followed 22, but I think realistically, it's hard to see him getting through the gauntlet of wide receiver needy team. So Jets at 11, the Raiders at 12, Niners at 13, as well as the Broncos at 15. I don't see Judy getting past that. Mike Yang, do you know any Hmong words or words? No. Spencer Vox. Yeah, Korean Japanese for life, son. Spencer Vox. Andy Toe of Satan challenge at 25K. What's the Toe of Satan? Like, I assume that's a thing. Is that world's spiciest lollipop is the Toe of Satan? I'm gonna say no, but who knows? Because we are getting close to 25K. We are getting up there. How? Like, where are we at now? I guess it doesn't say. Anyway, we're coming out 23K. Again, thank you guys for coming along. Thank you guys for making that possible. Max Kallenberg, love me some Neville Gallimore. I do too. Love the Canuck. If he's there around 2, I mean, sure. Mason Large, would you rather draft Henry Ruggs III or T. Higgins? Ruggs. Ruggs pretty clearly. Where I like Higgins. Big outside body, big catch radius. Would I be thrilled if he's like the first wide receiver taken for the Vikings? Yeah. But I mean, Ruggs' upside, if he can stay healthy, I mean, you are concerned about that, but he is the closest facsimile to Tyreek Hill in this draft on the field. I think you would have to move up to go get him, but so an interesting proposal. Want to get your thoughts. Vikings said 22-25, 103, 2021 first, and for Trent Williams and Chase Young. No. I mean, I like Chase Young. I think he's probably the most surefire pick in this draft, but giving up all of that sugar. So let's see, 103 is a 3rd-round pick. No. So 3 first-rounders for Chase Young and Trent Williams. No. Michael Miller, would you trade Anthony Barr for a 2nd or 3rd-round pick? I mean, if it's a high 2nd-rounder, sure. Yeah. Zach Dragon, what 2 realistic first-round draft picks would you be most disappointed by? Well, it's not so much that I dislike the player, but I would dislike if they reach. So I think Austin Jackson would be a bit of a reach if they went with him at 22-25. Again, like him as a player, I would be much more comfortable with him in the 2nd round. So if they went that direction, they went... I guess Gallimore or Blacklock, again, 2 guys I like, again, but not at 22-25. So if they somehow went Cameron Dantzler in the 1st round, again, I'm sort of indifferent about Dantzler, but definitely not a 1st-round selection. Wide receiver reaches. I guess if they went Claypool, where I don't see a team giving Claypool the time of day in the 1st round, Claypool or even Pittman to a degree, where I like Pittman, but much more as a 2nd-round pick. But Claypool is just so much potential for sure, but is not going to be a day 1 contributor. Probably shouldn't be either. And that's what the Vikings need out of that wide receiver pick. So I guess it's less that I would be disappointed by the players that they select, just more that are reaching as opposed to being better value at those equivalent positions in that draft. Lastly, the Blakester is the Vikings roster isn't looking too good right now at the moment. Should we be a little worried, especially in our division? It's on the line. Lions and Bears have a lot to prove. I would say no. I think the Lions and Bears are firmly going to be in the cellar, as well as the Packers. Yeah, it is what it is. I think the Vikings, I think it is a lot of addition by subtraction. I'd say minus Mac, minus Everson. I think overall the Vikings are getting better and younger. I would be concerned if they didn't have 12 draft picks, if they didn't have 2 first rounders, if they didn't have 5 picks in the top 105. I would be concerned about though. But yeah, overall, this whole reboot, rebirth, rebloom, I ain't mad at that at all. So that is it. Let's see here. Any additional stuff from the live chat? Or let's do mock draft. I mean, that's what we're here to do, right? Network, draft network. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go again. What's our weakness? Mock drafts. Here I am, minding my business. And all these videos, I just end up looking for chapstick. Found it. There you go. Because I do have some other chapstick in here that's like the cherry flavored. Because the daughter likes that tastes like cherries. So I end up putting that on, and it's like really light lipstick, where it's like, okay. All right, so start it up. When you start me up, and don't worry, I'll get this formatted to fit the screen. Judy escaped. Durr. All right. Here we go. So, Bro Young. So run on tackles, as we've seen. Justin Herbert still sitting there chilling. Now would be the time to auction off Justin Herbert to either a needy team for quarterback or convince Belichick to move up from 23. That'd be really great. So Fulton is there. Jones. Mims, Rieger, Chenault. Okay. Let's spice things up a little bit. Let's go get Brian O'Neill 2.0. Ezra Cleveland, come on in. All right, so Mims went, no big deal. Cornerback-wise, getting Christian Fulton. So right away, coming away with, you can kick Ezra into guard. I would prefer if they put him at left tackle right away, day one, and then kick Riley Reef inside to guard for a year. It'll be fine there. And then Christian Fulton's going to be your immediate starter on the outside for cornerback. Really like that pickup. Also, the Wizinator. Let's go. Wide receiver. So Ayuk is there. Pittman. All right. So going Ayuk. So right away, first 3 picks, Vikings, top 3 positions need are all like check. Take that in. Would have loved if Uche would have fell. So Darrell Taylor's available. All right, so let's look at big board. So Burgess is there. Ben Barsh, sure. Let's see, interior offensive line. Nathaniel Moody, Sternberg, Biadish. John Simpson is there. Kind of low on him. All right. Interior defensive line. Let's check that out real quick. Lucky Fodu is there. I think we can wait on him. Stowbridge, I like. I mean, Lawrence, it's okay. Call for show. Let's see here. Okay, linebackers. I mean, do we double back on cornerback so early? I mean, I really want Robertson. Would not have a problem doing that. So, yeah, I'm actually going for it. All right, so you got Christian Fulton on the outside. Yeah, Meek Robinson working as your nickel or dime back, in conjunction with Mike Hughes, with Boyd, as well as Holton Hill if he's not suspended. Nice little run out there. So interior offensive line. All right, so Biadish is still there. I like Sternberg. I'm going to go Sternberg. All right, so the famous 5 picks in the top 105, getting Ezra Cleveland, left tackle of the future, Brian O'Neill clone. Him and Brian O'Neill form the most athletic tackle duo in the league straight away. Christian Fulton and Amik Robertson really suturing up that cornerback room. Brandon Ayuk coming in, dynamic playmaker, especially after the catch coming out of Arizona State. Logan Sternberg doubling up on offensive line. Let's do this. Let's go. All right, let's check out who's on the big board. All right, Davis, Bond. Gabriel Davis is intriguing to me. Lucky Fodu. If you want a true backup to Michael Pierce, sure. Tyler Johnson is there. Stowbridge, I like. Man, I wish I had 2 picks here. Geno Stone is still sitting there chilling. Man. Okay. So we're going to give some love to the interior defensive line. we're going to go Fodu. There you go. Fodu de Chao. It's like Fogo. Did you get it? Ah. Can Tyler Johnson make it? No, we cannot. That's unfortunate. All right, so you look at the big board. So Jake Reed's kid is still sitting there chilling. Let's see what else. Wide receiver. AGG's there. Yeah, okay. Juwan Jennings is interesting. I like Omar Bayless as another small school kid. James Prochet we can get a little bit later on. Like Aaron Fuller as well. All right, so we can just sort of chill there. Safety-wise, yeah, good J.R. Reed. Why not? Because I feel like the Vikings may go safety a little bit earlier than you may think, just because if they haven't extended Anthony Harris, that's a one-year deal. Harrison Smith, again, wrong side of 30, so they could be in on safety relatively early, especially if the right guy falls. All right, so we do want to pick up an edge eventually, like Dana, Caddy, Coughlin, big board. And I do want to double back on wide receiver at some point, though. I think now is the time, though. Quarterback, we're going to get Mason Fine because I love Mason Fine. Running back, let's see what we got here. Oh, Josh Kelly's there. Michael Warren. Don't necessarily need to reach there. I mean, do we triple down on I love Throckmorton. I do. Yeah, screw it, we're in. There you go. 3 offensive linemen for the Vikings. So this is already way better than the PFF mock draft, where they didn't get any offensive linemen. I mean, what sort of bizarro world are we living in? It's probably not going to happen. You know what? At this stage, I'm just going to go get my guys because that's what I want to do. Oh, Divinity Jr.? Okay. All right. Yeah. Actually, we're going to take Divinity. Go. Wide receiver, we're going to get Prochet. Spank you. Quarterback, we're going to get Mason Fine, and then we'll pick up a running back at the end just for schmitz and giggles. Oh, no. We got robbed. Man. Definitely not taking Shea Patterson. All right, so missed out on Mason Fine. Let's go J.J. Taylor, Dynamite. No big deal. As well as, should we grab another cornerback just for laughs? Or finally pick up an edge? Oh, Dana's still there. Okay, why not? Or, yeah, we'll throw some love to the NDSU kid. There you go. All right, so overall, I mean, if this is what's happened for the Vikings, if this is what went down, I would not be upset at all. So Ezra Cleveland comes in, day one, starting left tackle. Christian Fulton, starting cornerback. Ayuk comes in, does his best Diggs impression, starting on the outside. Let's do this. Amik Robinson adds some value immediately in the slot, both for nickel and dime. Logan Sturberg throws himself firmly into the interior offensive line mix, where I feel like Stenberg, always looks like Stenberg and or and Drew Samia potentially could be your eventual starting guards. There you go. Lucky Fodu, nice little backup nose tackle coming in from Michael Pierce. J.R. Reed, Jake Reed's son, comes in, helps out with safety. Calvin Throckmorton, who I want to leave him at tackle. I know he projects in guard into guard as well. Interesting prospect there. Divinity Jr., linebacker out of LSU. Couple red flags, but you know. Also, finally, the 7th round. James Prochet, dynamic playmaker, big stats for the last 2 years for the SMU Mustangs. J.J. Taylor, Dynamite, coming in out of Arizona. And also Derek Tutska from NDSU, small school monster. Let's see what happens there. And that's it. That is our mock draft of the day. That is the live stream. Jeromes, thank you very much for coming along. It's a great way to pass the time. Hopefully we help take your mind off the world for a little bit. Keep hope alive. Yeah, and it's fun talking about draft stuff with you guys, of course, as well. But we're out of here. Deuces. Thanks for watching on demand. If you want to support the work, check out the mugs down below. Friends at Teespring. Check out the store, as well as hit that join box down below. Become a monthly or platinum Jerome player. Get yourself a purple check mark. That's what we want to do. There you go. Well, until next time, Skull, production value.